Welcome to Tactics and Touchlines. Today, the trending news going on is Alexander Isak Newcastle saga. And after the PFA Awards, we're all looking at Mohamed Salah taking the headline, having a lot of conversations around him, being the third player to win the PFL award or PFA awards. But Alexander Isak has blown the media with a social media post he made. And we are going to go into details on that post. After the post, Newcastle also released a statement also to batter or also counter Alexander Isak's comment. We'll read both statements, and after that, I'll find out from my pundit what they think about this incident, and also what is the best solution for Alexander Isak and Newcastle, and who is going to benefit more, and also who is also going to lose in this particular saga going on. Don't forget to subscribe, join this show, and also be part. Let us know in the comment section what you think about this Alexander Isak Newcastle situation. First, let's look at the statement. We didn't read all. We'll look at some of the key things that he mentioned. Then after that, we'll go into details with my pundit. So with Alexander Isak, the statement was, "I'm proud to be recognized by my fellow professionals with a place in the PFA Premier League team of the season for 2024-2025 season. First and foremost, I want to thank my teammates and everyone at Newcastle United who has supported me along the way." And the remaining talks about the ceremony. But the last post that talks about what Alexander Isak wanted to address, where he said that when promises are broken and trust is lost, the relationship can't continue. That's where things are for me right now. And why change is in the best interest of everyone, not just me. So that was Alexander Isak's statement on what he said. And from his statement, he thanked everybody for the PFL being part of the team of the season. And also, he talked about promises Newcastle made to him, and now the promises weren't fulfilled. So now that trust between him and Newcastle is broken. Let's look at Newcastle's statement. "We are disappointed to have been alerted by a social media post by Alexander Isak this evening. We are clear to in response that Alex remains under contract and that commitment has been made by the club officials that Alex can leave Newcastle this summer. The commitment wasn't made. We want to keep our best players, and we also understand players have their own wish, and we listen to their views. As explained to Alex and his representative, we must always take into consideration the best interests of Newcastle, the team, and our supporters in all decisions, and we have been clear that the condition of the sale in this summer has not been transpired. We do not foresee those conditions being met." So this was also some aspect of Newcastle's statement for Alexander Isak. I want to find out from my pundit. With these two statements, Isak is stating that there were promises being made from Newcastle. So meaning he had a discussion with them and now the promises are not being met. And from Newcastle's side, they are stating that Isak is under contract and he's part of their setup. If there's any club coming in, meeting up their transfer target or meeting up their transfer price, they would allow him to go. But as of now, nobody is meeting up that transfer target. And we've been hearing rumors from the likes of David Austin, Fabricio, that Newcastle hasn't set up a price tag for Alexander Isak. Let me find out from Raf, whose club, Liverpool, are looking at getting Alexander Isak. Looking at these two statements, do you think Newcastle are being fair to Alexander Isak, or do you think vice versa, Alexander Isak is not being fair to the Newcastle team?
Oh, Ben. I remember when a club is not treating a player right. For example, I remember how a club like Man United currently is treating Haaland. You can see clearly that they want to get rid of the guy. When a club is not happy with the player's performance and a club is not too comfortable with the player, they do whatever it takes to get rid of the player. But vice versa, when we flip the coin, and now a player is not willing to play for a club and a player wants to leave, then that player then becomes a bad player. He's being victimized. Hands are being pointed at the player. He's a bad player. He's an ungrateful player. He's this and he's that. He's this and he's that. Every player wants to play top-level football in big clubs. Now, Alexander Isak has served the club very well. In over 50 years, he has spent a trophy for you in the Carabao Cup, which he scored against Liverpool. Now, per what Isak wrote, he said there were some promises. There was an agreement that, okay, and I'm assuming the agreement might be, please, after the season, I would like to move to another club. And I'm very sure Liverpool has spoken with this guy. Liverpool have met his agent. We have discussed terms with his agent. We've given him our project. This is what we want to do. Mohamed Salah will not be playing the next 2 seasons at Liverpool. Liverpool is planning for life after Mohamed Salah. And he has been factored into the project. And the guy has been convinced and he wants to play for Liverpool. Why are you playing a hard ball? Before Liverpool signed Ekitike, it was clear in the media space that Liverpool told Newcastle stop Liverpool, thinking that they had the muscles to challenge Liverpool. When Liverpool obviously showed how the power play comes into action when a big team is trying to, a small team is trying to compete with a big team. We got Ekitike and we want to also get Isak. It's not as if we want to bully Newcastle, but Newcastle's stand on this player is very, very bad. We've had situations like that at Liverpool. Felipe Coutinho wanted to go to Barcelona. Liverpool said, no, we release a statement, just like Newcastle has done. But we saw that a guy was not willing to play for Liverpool. Coutinho to Liverpool was injured. But meanwhile, the following weekend, he went and he played for an international game for Brazil. And he scored in that game and he cried. Coutinho pushed his move and okay, no problem. We accepted the offer. We allowed the guy to go. We always say a player cannot be bigger than a club. Newcastle should show themselves some pride. They should have some pride and allow the guy to go. It's not as if I'm a Liverpool fan, but sometimes it's disturbing. His heads are being turned now. I know some fans are also saying that he should stay at Newcastle because they know that when it comes to Liverpool, the firepower is going to be too high. You can see Prince from his speech. You can see that Prince doesn't want the guy to come. Ben, so I'm saying that Newcastle United are not being professional.
I want to find this out from you. Do you think with Alexander Isak's issue, now being a Liverpool fan, you are pushing for Newcastle to allow him to go? But we saw something similar with Trent Alexander-Arnold, where fans were now bashing him, calling him snake, bending out his JC and a whole lot of things. So do you think now Liverpool are on the receiving end, so you are pushing for Newcastle to allow him to go?
Ben, Trent Arnold, as for Trent Arnold, he didn't deal with us very well. How much did we get from Trent? £10 million. £10 million is a player that when club brought you on, we were even angry. Ben, Liverpool was playing Man United, and club said Nathan Klein should be on the bench. Trent, come and play. I remember that game. Antonio Marshall used him like water. Trent turned me up and down. And we lost by 3-1, but we didn't give up on Trent. Because of Trent Arnold, aside Virgil van Dijk, he's assistant captain ahead of Mohamed Salah, ahead of Endo, ahead of Szoboszlai. All these guys are national team captains, but they give you vice captain just to convince you to stay. And Real Madrid turn your head that tell us that you don't extend your contract. You go on a free and Madrid gave us only £10 million. Ben, is Trent Arnold a £10 million player?
No. So do you think as of now, Newcastle needs to accept and allow Alexander Isak?
Accept, take the money, let him go. Everybody has his dream.
And also, let me find out from you, do you think Newcastle are in a tight position? Because as of now, available strikers on the market are very little, especially those on the level of Alexander Isak. So do you think they made a mistake holding up onto this transfer up to now?
Correct. Brentford just rejected their money, their offer for Yohan Wissa. Brentford also has rejected their offer just this evening. Liverpool gave you an option. Go for Ekitike, give us Isak. Simple. They said no. And we showed them that we are the big team. We showed them we are the big boys. It is their fault. They should allow Isak to be free. So, Ben, that is that.
Okay. So let's look at Newcastle's options. As of now, if Alexander Isak leaves, they need at least 2 strikers in their setup. Which 2 strikers are you tipping that would help this Newcastle team, especially in a Champions League season this time?
If Newcastle will be bold enough, they should go for Julian Alvarez. I don't know if Diego Simeone will sell. If Newcastle will be bold enough, they should go for Julian Alvarez at Atletico Madrid. Fantastic player. And I'm hearing this, even, I don't know, but I'll check the source of that news again. He's not too happy with Diego Simone's setup. Their defensive shape is too much for him. Yes. Their defensive shape is too much for the guy wants to play football. He's a South American. He wants to enjoy football. He wants to play. But Diego Simeone is restricting them a bit. So if they can test the waters by making a move for Julian Alvarez, that will be very, very helpful for them. And in the Premier League, of course, you won't get enough strikers in the league this time. They want you, and Wissa is also ready to play for them. somebody posted something. Alexander Isak wants to leave Newcastle. He's angry at Newcastle. Meanwhile, Yohan Wissa wants to also join. He's also angry at Brentford. Sometimes life is not too balanced like that.
With Wissa today, he even deleted every Brentford post from his Instagram.
Exactly.
Yes,
He wants to go.
Do anything to move to Newcastle.
Never. So that is that. I feel Newcastle should allow that guy to go.
Okay. Okay, Prince. Let's look at from your end. This transfer issue with players and club. Raf stated that Man United are doing something similar to Hoyland, and we are not seeing this enough media strength on it. But with Isak now doing it to a club, a lot of concerns are raising. Do you think Isak had to come out and say this, or do you think Newcastle have made him come out and make this statement, which now would affect the club's transfers going forward before the end of the transfer window?
All right, thank you. First of all, I don't know why Raf is so aggressive on someone else's striker. Someone's striker is under contract, and you have been aggressive. The person has 3 years left on his contract, and you think your aggressiveness will let them
We will shout. They will leave him. We will shout. They will leave him.
I'm sure. I think that the best thing Liverpool should do is that their next game they should go and print banners and just they're playing against Newcastle in the next game.
Newcastle, yes.
So
at the St. James Park.
They should go and print banners. They should go and print banners and hang it. I understand.
Do you think that the game should be the team that wins keep Alexander Isak, or Alexander Isak moves to Liverpool if Liverpool?
Okay, so let's go that way. Let's go that way.
I'm sure if they're going to place a bet on that, Liverpool want to go all out to score Newcastle just to have Isak. But I want to take it from a point where Newcastle is right, Isak is also right. But I believe when you want to go in an agreement with someone, and I want to slide in a similar issue that is happening with Lookman from Atlanta. He said the same thing, that he agreed with them, and now it looks like agreement, they are not keeping their part of the promise. Gokre said the same thing about Sporting, that he actually had a verbal agreement with them. But I think the players need to understand that when it comes to agreement, there should be a written agreement somewhere where there should be a signature sign. Even if you are going to have the team add a bit of money on your release clause, or probably put in a release clause over there and have you table a written agreement on that, I think it's the best thing for us. So at the end of the day, we won't come to a misunderstanding where the team is saying this, the player is saying otherwise. I don't know if you understand me. So if there's an agreement signed and probably a clause in there where the player's release clause is being increased, I think when you look at someone like Nico Williams, he went back to Bilbao, and they gave him extra years on his contract and even increased his release clause. That's what players should be doing. Speak to your agent. Get a lawyer. Talk to the team. It shouldn't always be a verbal agreement. A verbal agreement, who and who is your witness to say that, yeah, what you posted online is true? How would you know that it's true? We need something to back you up that, okay, what Isak is saying is true, or what Newcastle is saying is true. So I believe going forward, the players should take a stand, get a lawyer, speak to the agent. Let's draft this contract. This is what I want from the team. Now, Isak, you have 3 years left on your contract. This is not even 1 year that you be like, okay, I can do like a Sancho move where I'll reject other teams and stay back. No, this is a 3-year contract. And after 3 years, you'll be somewhere around 29 or 28. You get it. And if Newcastle want to waste your life, they'll waste your life, because they have the money to get other players and keep you in a team B. And there's nothing you can do because you sign a contract with them. You get it. So I believe players should take advice from this. You saw online that Lookman's agent is approaching teams in England to see if there's a possibility he can move to England. But earlier on, you decided to not to go and train with the Atlanta team and all that. When you don't get a team, you now have to now come and apologize to the fans and this all brouhaha, and it doesn't help your reputation as a player. It doesn't help the reputation of the team as well. So I think going forward, just like I said, let's get a contract in there. Let's sign. Let's get a lawyer. Let's get a witness. Let's get someone to be an intermediary there to agree on that deal. So we can going forward, we know that there's an agreement signed. You understand? There's an agreement signed, and we all abide to what we agreed on. So I think I wouldn't want to agree with what Isak did. If you want to leave the club, you shouldn't boycott training. You shouldn't boycott. You've left the apartment you're living in. You left the apartment you're living in. That is around the Newcastle club, and you are going to rent closer to Liverpool. So when you do that and you still don't get the Liverpool move, what are you going to do? I think sometimes I think sometimes they have to be patient with some of these things and take the best route that will bring peace.
Ben, I want to tell Prince that.
Yeah.
Ben, I want to tell Prince that when Fabregas wanted to leave Arsenal, he did everything he could. He even paid part of the transfer fee, says Fabregas. You can check. Ben, Fabregas even paid part of the transfer fees to move to Barcelona. Players, when they want to go to their dream club, they want to stop.
So you want Isak to pay some of the 150 million?
I think as of now, if Newcastle have not placed a transfer amount, if they have placed something on Isak, I think he personally would have come in and paid something. But because he's looking at
Liverpool sent a bid. Liverpool sent a bid and it was rejected.
Yes, and Newcastle didn't counter let's make it 150. They didn't do anything. They just rejected it fully. And that is what Liverpool are now relaxed, because they know that the player will put a lot of pressure on the club. And maybe they can even pay lesser than the 120 they presented earlier.
No, they said, no, we don't want it. Let me say this let me just come quickly to Ghana. Bernard Mbote said something in an interview. So I'm just using the local scene as an example. Bernard Mbote had in an interview says one thing. When Arsenal signed Kolo Touré, it was a sporting group called Aspar who were asked to tour Africa, West Africa, and look for a quality player to join the Arsenal team straight away. And they came all the way from England. He said Tony Adams and one Arsenal legend like this. They came to Ghana, spoke to the House of Folk, said never, they will not allow him to go. His mom came to the secretariat, begged on behalf of his boy that please let my boy, give my boy the point, let him go to wherever he wants to go. They didn't allow Mbote to go. And that was how Arsenal got to land Kolo Touré from Cote d'Ivoire, and he's now an assistant manager for Manchester City. Who knows where Mbote would have been, assuming he played for Arsenal. But because a team single-handedly prevented him from achieving his dreams or going international or getting his dream club, look at him now. So when a player is making a move, I don't overly criticize the players. Sometimes it is in their best interest. Fabregas went there and won trophies. Coutinho went to Barcelona. He didn't go too well, but he won a Champions League with Bayern Munich and other things. Allow the player to go.
Okay, so looking at some of the incidents that have happened, something similar to this saga, I think the most funniest one that happened in 2006 was William Gallas to Arsenal, where Chelsea were not allowing him to move. So he made a statement to the Chelsea team that if they start him against their game, they'll be playing against Manchester City on the opening day. He promised them that he will score an own goal if they don't allow him to move to Arsenal. So I think with rumors like this or sagas like this, I think it's in the best interest of the club to allow the player to move, get your money, to look for other options. Because as he said, no player is bigger than any club. the likes of Eden Hazard was looking at moving to Real Madrid, left Chelsea. Chelsea after that won even the UEFA Champions League. So there are still options out there, and I think Newcastle needs to look at those options, get in players, and not waste their time and also the players' time in this window. So thank you all for joining us. Yes, right.
Ben. Yes. You know, whenever Liverpool played against Newcastle, it was Isak who was giving us problem. Isak is the one giving us problem. This one will last them. Oh, funny.
And I think it's going to be a very crucial game for both sides because Newcastle players are angry at Liverpool. And the Newcastle fans will boo Liverpool from the start to the end of the game. So we'll be looking out for that game and we're looking at what the results will be. So thank you all for joining us on Tactics and Touchlines. We discussed the trending issue going on Alexander Isak against Newcastle. And I think before the end of this transfer window, we'll get a clear idea on what the player wants or what the club wants. And we are hoping that this can be resolved very quickly so that the player gets a new club. And also, Alexander Isak also moves to his dream club, where Newcastle can also add 1 or 2 players they are looking out for. So thank you all for joining us on Tactics and Touchlines.